want to know a little bit like how you got started.
Absolutely.
How you got started and what you're doing right now. How'd you get your 2 LLCs?
Right.
What kind of got you there to, feel like where you're at?
That moment where I realized this is what I want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I would say it came back to high school. So many years ago, I just I'd been going with my dad to a lot of these like seminars for like stocks and stuff like that, and my parents are divorced, so you got to find ways to bond with family members who you don't grow up with, and so initially I would go with my dad to these seminars and kind of get intrigued about oh, maybe I could start my own business someday or something like that. Mind you, I'm like 17 or 18 at the time.
Yeah.
And that kind of sparked my interest a little bit there. And then right out of high school, a friend of mine is an insanely good artist, and my other friend, we were all best friends, all three of us. And the other guy, he's like really good at silk screening shirts. So all three of us actually formed our first company, and it was called Minds at Play. And mind you, back then, like we were all just a bunch of stupid kids, partying too much, didn't know what we were doing, just trying to figure things out. Like I said, failure, right?
Yeah.
And but I mean, the idea was amazing. I mean, you got the artist for the shirts, and you got the silk screening expert, and then me, like business was what I was interested in. I mean, I wasn't a pro, but I was interested in it. And so we took those three elements and we kind of ran with it. But things fall apart.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't regret it. It was awesome. Good experience. But that's really where it started. That's where I was like, you know what? I really enjoyed doing that. Even if it didn't work, that sparked my interest. And so over the years, I just kept changing to the next thing. And a lot of times you'll hear that it takes 10 businesses to fail before the 11th one succeeds.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So the business right after that, I actually started a necklace company. And this is kind of where that whole fashion thing started, where I was realizing that when I go to buy clothing and stuff like that, there's just not much options for guys, at least when I was going with necklaces. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start a necklace company. So I would go shop around and find all the different types of necklaces I thought were super cool, and then I would buy all the supplies, and I would actually like learn how to do jewelry and stuff. So I have a whole kit and everything. It's down there behind you. And I made just a whole bunch of stock, and so I started keeping inventory and everything. And then, I didn't know what I was doing, but it was a learning experience. And I was on Etsy. I made some sales.
Okay.
I even went to the Fremont Sunday Market. This is in Seattle. So Fremont Sunday Market, and I had a booth there. And so I think I broke even. It was just intense, though. I would get up at like 6 a.m. and have to bring like a canopy, bring all my supplies, bring my chair, my table, everything, and just set up this presentation. There's probably some photos floating around of me at the booth, and yeah, I just had all my necklaces and everything. It did not go how I thought it would. I thought I would just sell out super fast, make a ton of money really quick, whatever. The traffic was amazing, but that was my necklace business. I mean, I still have it, but it's so like just back burner or whatever. And I've kind of just merged it into Raining Diamonds, into the clothing line. So, I still want to run with that, but I expanded from necklaces to all clothing. So that was that company. Let's see here. After that, I think that's when I started getting interested in the board game, and
that's the one I think.
The funny thing was, it's just like literally 3 years ago. I must have just been like stoned in my room or something. Was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a board game.
Yeah. And what examples can you give for like people who are watching? What examples can you give of your game that is similar? What can they expect, I guess, from your game that would be similar to something like a Starcraft or something like that?
Well, that would be it right there. If you've ever played video games, most people know about Starcraft. That's a really good representation of it because it's sci-fi, futuristic, resource gathering, resource management. You have your little army. You're trying to figure out how you're going to strategize to beat the other team. So I would say you're taking that idea of StarCraft and incorporating into a board game. And it really, my whole thing was I need to capture the adrenaline rush you get from playing video games, but into a board game, competitive and all that stuff. And it's had really, really good feedback.
Yeah, for sure. The Starcraft is my favorite.
That's so funny. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Hey, and don't judge me. Like that's my favorite game. Like that's probably my favorite game to play online. It's a good game.
But you should see the version 1. Oh my god, it was so funny the way it played out. It was just so clunky and just not accessible, and just so many things were broken in the game. It just did not make sense. I've probably had 30 or 40 revisions over the last 3 years.
Cool.
It's completely changed.
That's good.
Yeah, but I had the idea, and I knew where to start, and I was like, I know there's something here. And I never gave up. I just kept going until I refined, and then joined a playtesting group. And so that was probably the best thing to do, was find like-minded people in the industry, join the community, and then learn from the pros, learn the process from start to finish.
Right.
And that's where I went through the Meetup app, which is an awesome app. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Like I see people like doing biking meetups and whatnot. But
what can you find on the Meetup?
Everything. I've been to entrepreneur meetups just because I was like, I'm gonna see what kind of entrepreneur stuff's in here. So I've been to storytelling and stuff for entrepreneurs, and I've met some amazing people, just for fun, whatever. Yeah, cool. And it was interesting. It's a really good way to network. But yeah, that's how I found the playtester group, and I learned so much about the board gaming industry just from being in that group. And they're a nonprofit now, so I think eventually once I'm successful, I'm definitely gonna pour money into them because they've been so helpful for my journey.
Big time.
But that's later down the line, right?
Big time.
Yeah. So that's kind of my origin story. What about yours? I want to hear yours.
Well, but listening to that.
All right. Yeah. If you, sure.
Yeah, that was. That
a lot to take in.
That's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of conversations we should be having here.